Hey guys, welcome back. This is me, Sal Mahajan, and we're back at another video for our Azure 101 course. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at virtual machines. How can you create virtual machines on the Azure dashboard? Firstly, you would have to open this website that is portal.azure.com. I can just zoom it a bit so you guys are able to see. And you will need to search for the virtual machines. As you can see in my Azure services, I have virtual machines here. If you do not have virtual machines, you can just go to the search bar and you can type virtual machines and you can see services. It says virtual machine. So we're clicking on virtual machines and this is our virtual machine page. I'll be clicking on create and I would like to create a new virtual machine. So I'll be clicking on create virtual machine. And as you can see, we can create a virtual machine over here. So firstly, we can create a virtual machine that runs on Linux, Windows, or any other image that is available on the Azure Marketplace. So firstly, we're going to choose a subscription. Yours will be pay as you go. You're going to choose a resource group. As last time I had created a resource group that is Azure 101. I will be choosing that resource group. I will be given a name to my virtual machine. So I will be given this as Azure 101 VM. So that was my virtual machine. As you can see, the name is validated. You can choose a region. I would be sticking with the recommended region that's East US. Again, you can choose a region that is the closest to you. So if you are in Hong Kong, you could choose a region towards Hong Kong. If you're in India, you could choose a region in India. Availability options, I do not require any availability, so I would leave that alone. And I would leave the security as a standard. That is the basic level security private. And now we're coming to the images. That is the fun part. If you click on the normally the Ubuntu server 20.04 LTS long-term support is autofilled for you, but if you do open this, you can view a list of images. So as you can see, we can have Windows 10, we can have server, we have even Windows 11, and we have a data center, we have Ubuntu, we have Red Hat, Oracle, Debian, CentOS, you can name it. If you click on see all images, it would open up an even better page where you can see all the images that are available. On top of that, if you would like to search for images, for example, Kali Linux, so we could also install Kali Linux. If I can just, search that for you guys. So as you can see, we have Kali Linux GUI here. Again, there are other Kali Linux images that you can use too. We're going to close this. We're going to stick with the Ubuntu Server 20.0 because we're just creating a VM. I do not require a spot instance, so we can leave that. Again, now we're coming to the important part, that is the size of our VM. So if you can click on the drop down, you can see the recently used sizes that you have used and recommended by image publisher. The recommended ones, I would be like you, do not require them as of right now, but of course, if you want to go with them, you can go. And of course, it shows you the price on the per month basis. Again, if you would like to see all the sizes, you could click on see size. It would open a new page, and you can view the most used or whatever your thing is. I normally stick with the B series because I do not require continuous CPU performance and it is considered to be the cheapest. So you can go with B1 or you could go with B2. I normally go with B2 for my purposes or B2 MS, but for this purpose, I would be just setting B1 as we are just creating a VM. Now you have two types of way how you would like to access your account. So one is you can do it through an SSH public key or you could create a password. And SSH public key, they'll basically provide you a key pair and then you can use you can use PowerShell or PuTTY to connect, use SSH to connect to your virtual machine. Again, if you would like to go with the password route, you can also go with the password route. You can set in your username password. So I would go and set in my username as Sahil. Password, I would just, put some um, any password that you do like, okay, yeah, we do need one capital. So I forgot about that. Perfect. And then I can just change this to, and yeah, password do match. Again, you could choose your inbound ports. If you want to connect through SSH, you would have to have your port 22 open. We're going to go to disks. Once we go to disks, you have a choice disk options where you can add this. So your OS disk would be by default a 32. If you would want to increase your size, you can increase your size. You can give your disk type. So if you would like a standard HDD or an SSD or a premium SSD, you could go with the same. You can encrypt host if required. Your encryption type. So you have two types of encryption. One is you can use with the platform managed key, wherein basically Azure manages your encryption key, or you could have one that is managed by you, or you could even go with double encryption, that is one managed by Azure and one managed by you. Again, if you would like to attach more data disks to your virtual machine, you can do that too, assuming you want maybe a 1 terabyte SSD or whatsoever your scenario is. Then we can move on to next. Next, this is your networking interface. So it will create a virtual network for you with a subnet and a public IP address. Your network security group would be basic. According to your preferences, you can go at none or advanced. Again, as we saw on the first page, you are selected inbound. Inbound ports is 22, so that is for SSH. And you can also select this if you would like to delete the public IP and NIC when the VM is deleted, and if you do require accelerated networking. And assuming that you are creating multiple virtual machines and putting them onto a load balancer, you can also enable this option. Next, we'll be moving to management. Again, this is your management, which is basically your monitoring, identity, and Azure Active Directory. You can choose your monitoring, identity, and Azure Active Directory roles. We will be covering Azure Active Directory in the future videos. Another, good feature is the auto shutdown feature. If you guys are, basically what happens is if I enable auto shutdown, I can tell at what time I would like the, a VM to be auto shut down, be it a task is running or not running. If you would like to enable a backup, you can do the same. We're going to move to the advanced settings. In advanced settings, you can add in extensions. What do you say? Post deployment, these extensions will automatically be covered. If you have any custom data that you would like to be provisioned while the virtual machine is being provisioned, you can do that same. And you do have other facilities over here. We're going to come to tags. I normally leave tags empty, so you could leave that empty too. And finally, we do come to our review and create page. So it's running final validations. As you can see, validations have been passed. So again, we're running a standard B1S one quantity, and this is going to be our cost per hour. These are basically our details, and you can see your subscription, your resource group name, the virtual machine name, your region, and everything else. Do remember your password if you have selected your authentication type as password. If you have selected authentication type as a private key, you would have to download that private key as post creation of the virtual machine. You will not have access to it. Again, you can see all the details like your disks, your networking, your management, your advanced settings, and that's about it. So we can go ahead and click on create, and a pop-up should come up in your notifications bar. As you can see, initializing deployment, and within a few seconds, it should redirect you to the deployment page. And here we go. So we're creating a VM. It says deployment in process. And of course, if you would like to go to the things, you can just straight up over here and you can see the various different things that um, take place. As you can see, it's creating our VNet virtual network, it's creating our public IP address, and it's creating our network security groups. The status is okay, and they have all been completed. And most likely within a minute or two, this here we go. We have, well, yeah, our network interface has also been created, and our virtual machine is being created. As you can see, the status is created with the creation signal, and you can see within just about 2 minutes or even less than 2 minutes, our service was deployed. We can click on go to resource, and then this is your overview of your virtual machine. Of course, I created an image related to Ubuntu. If you would like to go with Windows Server or maybe Windows 11, Windows 10, you could do the same. Again, as you guys must have seen the web app service video, we have everything over here the same: your public IP address, your size, your operating system, DNS, and so on. Scrolling down, you can come into more in-depth details like your VM generation, it's a V2, your agent status is not ready. So it takes about 5 to 7 minutes for your agent status to be ready. Unless and until your agent status is not ready, you will not be able to connect to your virtual machine. So do bear in mind, just wait for about 5 to 7 minutes. We do have a public IP address over here, your size, your disk, your availability, and whatsoever. You can also come to monitoring. This will basically show your monitoring. You can choose your time frame that you would like to see your monitoring. You can see your CPU network. This is your inbound and outbound networks, your disk, your operations, and available memory in bytes. You can go to capabilities to see capabilities or things you can configure, like application insights, auto shutdown was not configured. We can do that too. Any recommendations provided by Azure, so it says your resources following Azure best practices and tutorials related to Azure Virtual Machines. So hope you guys did understand about that. Quickly, we would just go through the side panel as we always do. The side panel, again, you have your overview where you're able to see everything. Your diagnose and solve problems. You can diagnose networking, connect disks, size. If you would like to increase the size of your server, you could do that here. You would like to do something with networking, you could do the same. Any advisory recommendations that Azure does provide you. And then we come down to operations that you can have like auto shutdown, backup, disaster recovery, and so on. You have your insights. I've already explained this in the app service video. You could go and watch what is application insights over there. I will be creating a whole video on application insights so you guys can have a better understanding. And again, we have like resource health, what do you say, boot diagnostics. If you forgot your password, you could reset your password and a redeploy in case you would like to redeploy the whole virtual machine again. And furtherly, if you would like to connect to this VM, you could simply copy a public IP address. You can open a putty. So that's a program that you can SSH into your virtual machine. You can type in your IP address, specify the port, and the password that you had used for your authentication. You can type in that password, and you will be into your virtual machine. So I hope you guys did like this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and do subscribe. If you have any topics that you would like me to cover, please do mention them down in the description below. Take care. See ya. Bye bye.